The waiting room smells like antiseptic and nervous energy. Sarah sits with the carrier on her lap. Inside, Oliver hasn't moved in 11 minutes. Not because he's calm, because he's plotting. She can feel it. The vet tech calls their name. Sarah stands. The carrier does not. She looks down. Oliver has wedged himself against the back wall of the carrier like a tiny orange boulder that has decided, unilaterally, that this particular Tuesday will not be happening. "Come on, buddy," she says. "It's just a checkup." Oliver does not believe her. Oliver has never believed her, not since the day he learned what a cat carrier is actually for. Inside the exam room, Dr. Emily is warm and unhurried, the kind of vet who's seen every version of this. She kneels by the carrier door instead of yanking it open. "Hi, Oliver," she says gently. "I'm just going to say hello first." Oliver's ears go flat. His pupils are already saucers. He knows this room. He remembers this room. Some corner of his small orange brain has catalogued every smell, every surface, every betrayal that has ever happened here, and it is bracing for all of them at once. Sarah finally coaxes him out with a treat held just past the carrier door, the oldest trick in the book. Oliver eyes it suspiciously, weighs his options, and decides that dignity is a luxury he can abandon for salmon-flavored bribery. He steps onto the table. For one brief, shining moment, everything is fine. Dr. Emily checks his ears first. A quick look, nothing invasive. Oliver tilts his head away and lets out a low, theatrical groan, like she has personally wronged him. She checks his teeth next. Oliver's protest gets louder, a sound somewhere between a meow and a customer filing a formal complaint. Sarah laughs despite herself. He's always like this. They usually calm down once they realize nothing hurts, Dr. Emily says, smiling. She reaches for his paw. It's routine. 30 seconds tops. She's done this 10,000 times. Her fingers barely graze his toes, and Oliver detonates. The sound that comes out of him is not a normal cat sound. It is not even a normal Oliver sound. It is the vocal equivalent of a smoke alarm going off in a library. Sarah jumps so hard she nearly knocks over a jar of cotton balls. Dr. Emily freezes mid-motion, hands still hovering in the air, genuinely unsure what just happened. Oliver yanks his paw back like it's been set on fire. He backs up against the far edge of the table, tail puffed to twice its size, glaring at Dr. Emily's hand like it's a weapon she's about to draw again. "I barely touched him," Dr. Emily says, blinking. "I know," Sarah says slowly, staring at her cat. "I know you did." Oliver is not interested in explanations. Oliver has already decided this is the worst thing that has ever happened to him, and he intends to make sure everyone in the room understands the full weight of his suffering. He sits back on his haunches, front paws pulled tight against his chest, glaring between the vet and his own traitor of an owner. Sarah rubs her forehead. "Oliver, she didn't even—" He cuts her off with another indignant meow, sharp and pointed, like he's cross-examining her. "Doctor." Emily lowers her hand slowly, carefully, the way you'd back away from something unpredictable. "Okay," she says, half to Sarah, half to the cat. "Let's try that again." She reaches toward his paw one more time. Oliver's eyes lock onto her hand, and this time, before she even gets close, he starts screaming. By now, the exam has stopped being a checkup and started being a negotiation. Dr. Emily regroups, arms crossed, studying Oliver like he's a puzzle she's determined to solve. "Let's try distraction," she says. Sarah pulls out another treat, holding it a little farther away this time, hoping to lure his focus somewhere other than his own paws. It works, for about 4 seconds. Oliver eats the treat happily enough, chewing with the smug satisfaction of a cat who believes he's won something. But the second Dr. Emily's hand drifts toward his paw mid-chew, his eyes snap open. He notices instantly. The paw disappears before her fingers even get close, vanishing beneath him like it was never there to begin with. Oliver starts up again, a fresh wave of indignant meowing, complete with a look that could only be described as personally betrayed. "Oliver, stop being so dramatic," Sarah says, exasperated. He turns to her immediately, meowing back, sharp and fast, like he's got a whole rebuttal prepared. "I mean it." Another meow, louder. "You're fine, she's not hurting you," he responds instantly, indignantly, without missing a beat. Within seconds, it's not an exam anymore. It's a full conversation, Sarah arguing, Oliver arguing back, neither one backing down. "Doctor." Emily stands off to the side, pen frozen over her clipboard, trying very hard not to laugh and failing, badly, silently, shoulders shaking. "I've never seen a cat actually argue before," she finally manages. You're seeing it now, Sarah says, rubbing her temples. Then, abruptly, Oliver goes quiet. Not calm quiet, suspiciously quiet, the kind of quiet that makes everyone in the room pause. Sarah looks down at him. He's sitting perfectly still, staring straight ahead, as if he's decided the argument is over and dignity has been restored. Is he done? Dr. Emily asks carefully. Sarah isn't sure. Maybe? Dr. Emily takes the opening. Slowly, carefully, she reaches toward his paw one more time, moving like she's approaching a sleeping alarm clock she does not want to trigger. Oliver doesn't flinch, doesn't pull away. He just watches her hand. Her fingers drift closer. Closer. Sarah holds her breath. Dr. Emily's hand is inches away now, and for one fragile second it actually looks like it might work, like the whole standoff is finally about to end quietly, peacefully, like a normal checkup. Then, at the very last possible moment, Oliver tucks both paws underneath his body at once, fast and total, folding himself into an orange loaf shape so complete that not a single toe remains visible anywhere. Dr. Emily stops, hand hovering over nothing but cat fur and stubbornness. She lets out a laugh she can no longer hold back. Well, she says, shaking her head, I think he knows exactly what I'm trying to do. Sarah sighs and drops her face into her hand. He's known the whole time. Oliver sits there, tucked into his loaf, paws completely hidden, looking about as pleased with himself as a cat can look. He doesn't meow. He doesn't need to. For the first time since walking into this room, Oliver isn't scared, isn't angry, isn't even performing for an audience. He's just sitting there, quiet and immovable, radiating the unmistakable energy of a creature who believes, fully, completely, that he is one. By this point, Sarah isn't sure whether to be embarrassed or impressed. She watches Oliver, still folded into his defensive loaf shape, and wonders, not for the first time today, whether something is actually bothering him, or whether her cat has simply decided that paw-touching is a personal insult he refuses to tolerate. Is it possible something's actually wrong? She asks. Like genuinely wrong? Not just him being him? Dr. Emily considers this seriously. She's asked herself the same question. Dramatic reactions can be exactly that, drama. But sometimes they're a cat's only way of saying this hurts when nothing else in his body language backs it up. Let's find out, she says. Just give me a second. This time she doesn't reach for his paw directly. She waits. She lets Oliver settle, lets his shoulders drop an inch, lets the tension in the room ease before she moves again. When she finally does reach for him, it's slow enough that he barely registers it happening until it already has. Her fingers press gently along his pad. She checks between his toes. She flexes the joint, watching his face the entire time for any flicker of real pain. There isn't one. No flinch, no sharp intake of breath, no sign of an actual injury anywhere. Dr. Emily sits back, satisfied. Good news, she says. Nothing wrong with his paw. Nothing wrong with any of them, actually. He's just dramatic, Sarah finishes. Very dramatic, Dr. Emily agrees, smiling. Some cats just don't like their paws touched. No injury, no pain. It's purely a preference thing. Some of them never get used to it, no matter how many times you try. Sarah exhales, half relief, half exasperation. Suddenly a dozen memories click into place at once. Every nail-trimming attempt that ended with Oliver sprinting under the bed. Every time she'd assumed he was just being stubborn instead of genuinely, deeply opposed to the whole concept. That explains so much, she mutters. Dr. Emily finishes the exam quickly now that the hard part is over, working efficiently around Oliver's continued muttering and occasional disapproving glance. He tolerates it, barely, with the exaggerated patience of someone doing everyone in the room a tremendous favor. When it's finally done, Dr. Emily reaches into her pocket one last time and offers him a final treat. Oliver eats it without hesitation, and just like that, his outrage evaporates. No lingering resentment, no grudge. He simply moves on, the way cats do, as if the last 20 minutes of screaming and negotiating never happened at all. Sarah shakes her head, laughing quietly. Thank you, she tells Dr. Emily. Sorry about all of that. Don't apologize, Dr. Emily says. Honestly, best part of my day. As Sarah gathers Oliver up to head back to the carrier, a sound drifts in from the next room. Another cat, somewhere down the hall, getting examined of its own. Oliver's ears perk immediately. He turns his head toward the sound, completely still, listening. Then, without warning, he lets out one last dramatic meow, long, loud, and entirely unnecessary, as if declaring solidarity with whatever stranger is currently going through what he just survived. Sarah laughs and pulls him close. "Don't worry," she tells him, voice soft. "Nobody's touching your paw anymore." Oliver goes instantly, completely quiet. Dr. Emily blinks, caught off guard by just how immediate the silence is. She glances at Sarah, then back at Oliver, who is now sitting calm and content, tail curled neatly around his feet like nothing ever happened. "That's all he wanted," Dr. Emily says slowly, "this whole time." Sarah looks down at her cat, who blinks back at her with total, unbothered innocence. "Some cats hate the vet," she says, shaking her head as she zips up the carrier, "but Oliver took it personally.